Hello there. You're listening to the Box Office Show. I'm Ryan Hill,
And I'm Dylan Johnson. Today we're going to be talking about the box office numbers from last weekend and our box office predictions for this upcoming weekend.
and we will also be doing a director analysis on none other than the GOAT, Steven Spielberg, in honor of his upcoming release, Disclosure Day. We will be going through eventually his entire filmography, pretty much. And we're going to be breaking it down by looking at a few films from each decade that he has been on top of cinema. This time we're going back to the start of his career. So we're going to be looking at three films from the 1970s, including The Sugarland Express, Jaws, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Jump right into the box office breakdown for June 5th to the 7th. In first place, Scary Movie made $54 million. That is a record high for the franchise, with the first installment making $42 million, Scary Movie 2 making $20 million, Scary Movie 3 making $49 million, Scary Movie 4 making $40 million, and Scary Movie 5 making $14 million in their debut weekends, respectively.
Yeah, what that tells me is this franchise certainly did clean up. No wonder they made so many of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Massive openings, the big group experience, especially for a comedy like this, is very important. And Scary Movie 6 definitely recaptured some of that magic. So they had a big opening. We'll see how the drop off is, because I've not been hearing great things about Scary Movie, but definitely, it holds the trend of all but Scary Movie 5 of having really, really solid opening weekends. So, great opening there. Masters of the Universe also opened, but only to 29.4 million off a budget of 150 or 200 million, something like that. So
a lot lower than I thought it would be. I'm genuinely shocked. I thought it would hit like 35. It's really sad.
Came in well under. So if y'all were hoping for more He-Man adventures on the big screen, sorry to report that that's probably not going to happen. Not with this opening.
Probably not. In third was Caden Parsons' Backrooms. It made $26 million, a pretty decent hold there, doing all right.
Obsession with 25 million. Its domestic total is now past 150 million.
Bro, killing it.
Continuing its crazy run.
The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act, 12.3 million. I have no idea what that is.
Apparently it's some internet show, a YouTube show, something like that. And then they got some kind of distribution for the finale year, as it says, The Last Act. So big fan base, I guess. They all came out for 1 weekend only. Star Wars The Mandalorian Grogu with 9.9 million. Its domestic total is now across 155 million.
Michael was 7.6 million. Its domestic total is now 350 million.
The Breadwinner 3.4 million.
Pressure 3 million.
The Devil Wears Prada 2, 2.7 million.
And all the way in 15th place, way below the top 10, Super Mario Galaxy made $602,000, which is notable because they have now crossed $1 billion. Bum, bum, bum.
So it's the first $1 billion grosser of the year, Super Mario Galaxy.
Yippee. My movie made it to $1 billion.
It did. So congrats on that. Good start to the year. And then certainly it looks like it's going to be a good summer as well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's look at the box office predictions for June 12th to the 14th. It is Disclosure Day from Mr. Spielberg. What do you think that this is going to get?
Not much. I'm not going to lie. No. There's been quite a few ads for it, but I don't see a lot of hype around it. And I don't know about you, but Spielberg's movies have not been like top dogging it at the box office the last few, decades. I'm gonna go with 25 million as the ceiling. 25, 30 million is the ceiling.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too low for the GOAT. I mean, it's an original film, number one. It's a sci-fi film as well. We did see, Project Hail Mary had a lot of good success lately, but a bit more of an exciting hook.
I don't know, bud.
It's outer space. I don't know. I think it can do a little better than that. Go we get 50 million, that would be incredible. If we get over 40 million, I think that would be great as well. I think that would be on par with his last, real blockbuster, Ready Player One. I think that one made north of 40 million. So if it's on par with that, then I think we got a really solid start.
Mhm. All right,
Yeah.
let's jump into our main topic of discussion. Speaking of Spielberg, we're going to be jumping back in time about 50 years, back to the 70s when he first started his career. We're going to be talking about 3 movies here. Started with The Sugarland Express, which was his first theatrical release, wide release, in 1974. It's not quite his first. It's his first feature film in theaters, but before this, he made Duel, which is a movie that I personally really like, and I think that is a great first
Indeed, that was
film.
a TV movie.
Yeah, and that movie's awesome, very sick. And then before that, he made a couple of like short things with his friend that played in like a theater somewhere and some TV stuff. But this The Sugarland Express is his first movie in theaters, wide release, big stars. Goldie Hawn's in this, and I have mixed feelings about it.
Really
A little bit.
interesting. I
My mm,
thought it was a delight.
okay,
I
okay.
really enjoyed it, and then
I think
I
there's a
also
lot of
love.
strengths.
Yeah, there's a lot of strengths. I think there's a lot. This is only 1 year removed from Jaws, but there's, and I haven't seen Duel, so I don't know what that showcased of his excellence already. But yeah, it's clear, the trademarks that Spielberg has here, especially with his camera movement, his blocking, all
Yeah,
that stuff is legendary. And Sugarland Express, there's an abundance of it already.
I
And
think for the most
so,
part it works. I think there are some sequences where the way he's blocking the cameras with the cars comes off a little confusing. Like my spatial recognition gets thrown off a little bit, which is
mm,
surprising because he is quite literally the goat of camera movement and camera blocking to create like a uniform sense of space. He's literally the best at this. And
mhm,
so I was a little bit shocked, especially because in Duel, I think he does a better job of communicating where everything is in reality in the film as he cross cuts between things, which is even more impressive because he reuses footage all the time. Like he is on such a tight budget for Duel that you'll see the same shot 4 times in that movie. And it makes sense each time he uses it, which is like an editing masterpiece. Like it's impressive from an editing standpoint to keep reusing the same shot over and over again like that.
gotcha. All
But
right,
in
so
this one,
then
there was like a few times where I got lost in the car chases.
fascinating. Yeah, I know that never really hit for me. For the most part, I think, yeah, it was solid enough there. But overall, what I really enjoyed about the film is, number one, just how comedic it was. I did not expect,
Mm,
especially because of the poster as well. It just looked. I was like, oh god, this gonna be a serious crime
yeah.
drama type thing. Again, it's delightful. Just from, I mean, there's a lot of over the top stuff. Even just when Goldie Hawn is bringing her husband into the bathroom,
Mm.
and you're thinking, okay, she's trying to get it on, but she's just revealing that she's got another set of clothes on. She's gonna bust them out, and
Like, you're
then
wearing my shirt. You're wearing my pants.
and then you're wearing two jeans. What's going on? And then the drunk dude that's in the back of the police car at the start as
Mhm.
well. All the little one-liners and whatnot that he has. And then when he gets caught up in the chase, he's just in the back, like praying, like, "Oh Lord, make it stop, please.
Yeah.
No more, no more." So,
My favorite comedic bit is the old couple that gets stuck on the side of the road, and then the cop
and they
finally
never
pulls
come
up
back
to
to
them.
it.
The cop finally pulls up and he's like questioning them. He's like, "Are you so and so?" They go, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, great, stay here," and then just
He's
zooms
like,
off
"Stay
without
put."
them.
And then
Hilarious.
they never get scooped up again. Um, so yeah, a lot of it is just really, really charming, and especially that the whole dynamic between Clovis, is it Eugene, and then I forget the
Mhm,
the officer's name, but just seeing their you know
mhm.
friendship kind of blossom over that really initially a hostage situation,
Yeah.
which I guess they keep
It
them till the end. But
reminds me a lot, like very heavily of Dog Day Afternoon, which came out a
mm,
year after Sugarland Express. It is like
yeah, yeah,
very, very similar plots of just these kind of petty criminals getting caught up in a very, very large violent crime that kind of spirals out of control and just takes the media by storm, takes the people by storm. They become like the people's heroes, but on accident. And they have
yeah, the
like,
folk hero stuff.
yeah, and they like the Stockholm syndrome sets in with their captives. Like it's like a hostage situation that spirals out of control. There's like comedy involved, and they're both based on true stories too. So like
Yeah.
this is just
I'm about
something
the
that
'70s, man. What was going on?
miraculously
Don't
this
have
just
any.
happens in real life. People become folk heroes for doing what they think is right and standing up against things. I guess even though it's like a violent crime, and they win over their captors too, which is really funny. But I'm watching this movie and I'm comparing it to Dog Day Afternoon in my head quite a bit as I'm watching it because they're both very similar. And I think there is a section in the middle of this movie where I think it drags a little bit,
Mm.
where I am just kind of losing interest. It's after they get gas, which I think is very funny. They push him to the gas station, fill up, and then drive off again.
And then
It's
all the
after
other
they get
cops
gas.
start
Mhm.
filling up. So they're
Yeah.
like, "Talk to the captain." The one dude's like, "No, you can't do that here. Can't
Yeah.
use your
That's also
blue
very
card
funny.
or whatever."
It's
So
like
yeah.
right after they get gas up until like uh around the time around the time right when the shootout happens. Like I really like the scene where they're in the trailer together and he's like watching the cartoons and making the sounds, and then he like kind of like has a moment where he's realizing how it's going to end, and he's like you can see the impression of the cartoon over the glass in front of his
Yeah, yeah,
face,
yeah.
and you can see his face dropping, and he's just like thinking about inherently how this has to end.
Right.
And I like that scene, and then everything after works for me.
Mhm.
But between those 2 sections, it just kind of drags a little bit. It's just them driving around and talking, and the things that they're talking about aren't really developing the characters. Ben Johnson is, like, debating whether or not he's gonna have them shot, and he doesn't really wanna have them shot,
Right.
which is, like, an
I know that
interesting
scene was really
that's an interesting dynamic for
well
his
done.
character, but it's, like, all his character has is just being the cop who's trying to solve this peacefully, but he knows how it has to end, which I think
Mhm.
is, like, interesting for his character, but it's just, like, I don't know, nothing really clicked for me there. And then I feel like the movie also has a problem capitalizing on momentum. Like I think
Mm.
there'll be a scene of really great energy, and instead of building off of that into another scene, they have like an interstitial where there's something like kind of bland happening, and then it cuts into the next scene where it's supposed to be kind of like momentum charged. Like the biggest example I can give is when they're in the last town they're going through and all the people are there. It's a great scene, and they're all like throwing things at them and they're telling them they love them. They give them the pig in the car. Great scene, probably my favorite scene in the movie. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so much going on. It's tremendous blocking, tremendous camera movement, tremendous camera work, tremendous use of the space. The amount of extras is boggling for this being his first like theatrical film. This is
Dude,
insane.
the
Like,
number of cars as well, dude. And you learn, what Sugarland Express
mhm.
means because it's just this long trail of 100 plus police cars. And it's like, these are all the
Yeah.
real cars. Like, you had to get all these police cars out here.
But this
And
is what I
then
mean is we go from
eventually a bunch
that,
of
and
other
then
vehicles.
he wants to showcase how many cars there are, so he cuts to a scene of just the Sugarland Express, just all these cars on the highway, and like very slow pattering music, and then cuts to the house that they're going to with all the cops coming in with guns. It's like I feel like you cut down the tension and the momentum by doing that.
Mm. I don't know. I don't think I felt that way about the, because again, we know it's coming. We know by at that point, right? That they're
Yeah,
setting
but
up for
I
the
wish we would get there a
ambush.
little faster. I wish we would get there in a bit of a quicker way.
Yeah, I don't oppose that necessarily, but I think for the most part, a lot of that worked. For me, the stuff that wasn't quite clicking was the one little subplot of the reserve officers or whoever they were. Like whenever you would cut over to them, like following along with the story, and then deciding to drive out in order to intercept them and
Yeah, I
get the
guess. I
law in their
mean,
own hands. Obviously it builds up to the shootout and whatnot, but that stuff I was like, I don't know, those
I thought it was
fully
fine.
locked in with that. But everything
It was a
else,
weird thing to cut to, but I think it's the only way to explain their role in that
yeah.
movie. Is why are these guys shooting them out? It's because they're reserve officers and they've heard it on the radio and they're gonna go hunt them down because they're idiots. Dude,
Mhm.
crazy. They started firing and I was like, Jesus Christ, guys. Holy
The
shit.
shootout itself was
They just don't care. They
wild.
have a kid there. They're just firing guns. And then the cops will show them to go, wait until they see what we did. Like they're all excited and shit.
Yeah, they're so dumb.
Nuts.
Um, yeah, no, I liked because watching the film, I was charmed. I was really charmed with them. Again, like
Mhm.
if I were the cop driving around, I'd be like, you know what? There's some decent people. Obviously, they're not gonna be able to get back to their kid, but I was like, there's got to be a more reasonable like or into the scenario, right? Than
Mhm.
obviously shooting them. I was like, Jesus,
Yeah.
we're gonna set it up like that. I mean, they were given a lot of opportunities, but I'm like, there had to be
Yeah.
another way to.
I really
hunker
like
down and
Goldie
find
Hawn's
someone.
performance, but I found her character frustrating. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
because
but
I
I think
love
it's
her. I think she's
partially the
great.
point.
I think it is the point. You're right. I
'Cause
love
at a
her. I think
certain
she's
point,
great,
because Clovis,
but
again,
she's
he,
delusional.
as a much of a adult he is, he recognizes he's like that there's a chance like this is gonna go badly, and she's just so caught up in the whirlwind of it all. You know, she was able to bust him out. They were able to
Mhm.
get as far as they got. Now they're the folk heroes and whatnot. So I
Yeah,
think there's a real hope there. Um, and obviously, you know, they're dangling that in front of them. They want that to be the case, which even the police officers warding them off like this. Like the kid is not in there. Like we need a bailout. Um, and so it's understandable. Again, they got that close. Like you went through all this. Now you're at the house where he's supposed to be. You'd want to believe that yes, you are actually going to be able to get to see him
yeah.
and head out. But yeah, it's just too much of a fantasy at that point. Um, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that
It's
folk
fun.
hero stuff. Generally, with movies like that, I'm like, you know, I don't know. The whole obsession with like Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah,
has always been weird to me because they were like genuine bad people.
murderers.
Like they
Yeah,
were murderers, they were cop killers, all that stuff. And I'm like, that's not great. And I've never really liked that movie either. But this, I'm like, I can get behind this. Like they're
you've seen Dog Day
clearly,
Afternoon, right?
yeah. And I like that too. Again,
Yeah.
they're I very much like the opening that film as it goes on. I don't know. I kind of have, I guess, the opinions you did on this one for that one. I know you love Dog Day
Dude,
Afternoon,
I
but
love Dog Day Afternoon.
wasn't fully locked in.
Attica, Attica, Attica.
That
Great.
scene is great. The scene on the phone call I thought was great, and especially for that time too. It was a very sympathetic portrait of that whole situation. So I
You know,
love
like the
that.
whole finale where they're in the car trying to get to the airport.
I like the finale.
Yeah, it's sick.
So I think that's good. Again, as well, it's one of those things too of like, come on, guys, like at a certain point,
You got to give up.
if you're the criminal, you just got to know like they're gonna try and do some sleight of hand here and get you at the very end. Um, but yeah, for Sugarland Express, because again, it's like the kid, another again Spielberg goat of many things, also the goat of working with child actors. Got to be undisputed in that because even this
Mhm.
kid in here, again, what were
Dude,
they
yeah.
doing to make him cry? What did they do
Crying at
right?
the exact right moments, yeah.
Exactly.
Saying mommy at the exact right moments.
Like it was always distressed too, except for the one time when he was, you know, with
I
his
think
dog
Spielberg's just
in the
lucky, bro.
yard.
I think he just gets the shots by luck. Like the shooting star shot in Jaws.
Right. Well, they did
Who
that on
fucking gets
purpose,
that,
didn't
bro?
they?
No. No.
No, they had to. There's no way that was a real shooting star. That had to
It
be
is.
put in post.
No.
No, that's gotta be an urban legend, bro.
Look it up.
All right, we'll look it up. Look at it when we go to our Jaws discussion. But with kids in Jaws, we'll talk about that, and Close Encounters, again, great kid performances, and obviously Jurassic Park, E.T., all these other ones where the kid performances are stellar. This one, no different. So I don't know. Again, just seeing that, it's like I do kind of want these people to reunite with their kid. Like we have to. Sure, certainly there was some way to let them just see the kid. It's not going to hurt the kid or harm the kid, and then you can take them in afterwards. But alas, not how it goes. And obviously, it's based on a real story. So again, that's the other element too of like, oh no, this is going to have maybe a tragic ending. Um, and it does. So what do you think of that? How it ultimately wrapped up?
It's devastating, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's sad.
It is really
Uh
sad. Again, and the tension of like when they're up at the house, we know the sniper's there, but we don't know had they switched to a different window because they
mhm.
drive around the house initially. So you're like, when is the shot going to happen? I think the tension there was really effective. Again, I was bought in with the cop wanting to help them out. Because again, at that point, I'm like, just let them see the kid. Just let them see him one time and then, take him in prison afterwards.
Mhm.
So yeah, the whole thing I thought was quite delightful. Like their whole journey there. Again, I was charmed by the dynamic. I really liked it. And then a lot of the shots in this were, again, astonishing. There's the one where it's like early on in the kidnapping where she's looking in the rear view mirror.
Mhm.
And you can see like the eyes in the rear view mirror, and then you can see in front or behind of that other police car, the one dude that was, I guess, the police chief. That shot was great. There's the one of inside the car. Again, the like police chief was coming up and checking in on the situation. And then we did a full almost 360 from inside the car where we got to see the car pull up to the side, then pull up in front, and then pull off to the right and then behind. I was like, that's crazy. The coordination for that. Uh, so those shots were great. You talked about the stuff in the trailer.
Mm.
They were watching the cartoon,
And he's doing like the sound effects.
doing the sound effects, and then
Yeah.
when it goes to now we can see, in the reflection, now the sound comes in, so it's the diegetic sound.
What are those tickets he
She's
gets
still
from the gas
laughing.
station? Are they lottery tickets?
Um, I guess I had to look this up. I was like, why? I was like, what are the stamps in the 70s? Apparently, back then, gas stations you can get stamps as like a loyalty reward program, basically, and then the mail-in booklets. Sears back in the day where you would order stuff out of the magazine and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it can be used for that. So
Okay, so they're like ways to pay
definitely
for
a
gas.
thing of the past.
Yeah, I was like trying to piece it
I don't
together, and
think
I
they're
was
for
like,
gas though. I
this is
think
very
they're for
dated.
other things. They're like
Yeah.
mail order stuff that you
Okay.
can get.
Like, this is a very dated thing.
Yeah.
I give in. I looked it up. There's debate, but I think overwhelmingly the shooting stars were not real.
Okay. Well,
But
sorry to break it to you. I'm sorry.
not
Spielberg
officially
mashed it.
confirmed one way or another, but it seems more than likely that the stars were visual effects. I've been lied to.
And
Steven,
you're gonna
how could
hate
you?
this one too,
Uh-huh.
Dylan. The shark wasn't real.
What? That cannot be true. You must be lying.
But in
I
Close
saw Robert
Encounters,
Shaw die in that movie.
they were real, so don't worry about that. He did get real aliens that came down.
Oh, good.
The goat of alien actors as well.
Yeah, for real.
So, yeah, Sugar Land Express. Again, I was quite delighted by it ultimately. There's a lot of great stuff. Even that final shot too. That him being silhouetted against sunset on the water.
It's a great shot at the end.
Beautiful.
Really, really good shot.
So yeah. What? How many Texas Gold stamps out of 5?
I'm gonna give it 3.
3. Wow. I'm giving it 4.
Wow.
And I was quite enjoying my time watching this. I thought it was excellent. Dude, the shot on the hill as well, when the car breaks down, but you see the train of the cars coming over the hill. We see our car come out the top, and then it starts rolling backwards.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like, great stuff.
He's got some good shots. He uses a lot of frames within frames that I like. Like when she's walking up to the prison and she's within the brick wall frame. He does that a lot in Jaws too. When the boat's going out and they're in the jaws of the shark. It's another great
also
shot.
The master at that. Frames within the frames. God, he's just too good.
He's really good. Yeah. Speaking of Jaws, let's talk about Jaws, dude. It can be argued that this is his best movie. It can be argued that this is his greatest film. I don't know if I would be the one to make that argument, but it could definitely, this is a contender. This is like top 5 Spielberg.
Yeah.
In a filmography that is littered with fantastic movies. Like this is up there, and I fucking love this film. When was the first time you watched this movie?
I don't even know. I do not remember. I know when I saw it in theaters though. It came out for some kind of anniversary release, like
that's cool.
2022. So I went to go see it in theaters. Amazing. Truly amazing. I think in IMAX. It was an IMAX release. And then they did the 50th, just last year, which I didn't get to catch, unfortunately. But I'm extremely happy I got to see it in theaters. But this is also one that, would always play on TV here and there. And so I would turn it on and watch some of it. Dude, my mom cannot watch this film. She would not be able to be in the room because she loves the ocean. She loves swimming. She loves the water. And she's like, I would be too scared. Like watching this film would make her too afraid to go in the water.
Bro, I remember watching this.
Refused.
I think the first time I watched it alone because everybody knows what Jaws is growing up. It's, the shark movie. And so I put it on when I was like 13 or something, 12 or 13. And that's how old like the Alex Kinder boy is. And so I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm having fun. This is, enjoyable. And then the kid gets eaten. And I was like, and all the blood goes everywhere. And I was like, I didn't know that kids could die like that. I didn't know kids get eaten by sharks. Like kids my age. I didn't know that was a thing that happened. Like I knew it, but I had never seen something like that. And so then I was scared to go to the beach for like a year. This movie,
sure though, yeah.
As a kid, you're always to watch when you're young. This is fucking because it's an old movie. It's from the 70s. You expect it to be maybe a little cheesy, and then like the violence is real, like the gore is real, and you're like, oh my god, it's like watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time. It's like, wow, I did not expect it to be like this. and is genuinely scary. Like he puts in the fear for sure,
Extremely
and
effective. Yeah.
just some of the best shots, some of the best oneers when they're on like the car boat, when they're in front of the billboard that's been painted over. I mean, just
Yeah.
frames it so well.
Yeah. Though again, we know your evolving opinions on wonders and your genuine distaste for
He's
them, but
got the best
Spielberg,
ones.
he's got the best because they're always none of
They're
them are
like
meant
the
to be
Kurosawa oneers. They're meant to change
flashy.
from.
They're different frames,
I don't really like it
just
when the
different
camera just. I
compositions
don't really like when the
stacked up.
camera just moves through reality. I like when the composition changes and like he creates new frames within the same take.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I enjoy, and
Yeah,
I think Spielberg, obviously gets that from Kurosawa a lot, and they're both fantastic at it.
for sure. I
Like
mean,
prime
yeah,
example, High and Low. The first 30 minutes of High and Low, best oneers in the world. And then he uses these excellently in this movie. He uses them great in Catch Me If You Can. In all of his movies, really, they're just phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, there's some all-time contenders in this. The one with when they're on the little ferry,
Yeah,
which
dude,
is
the car boat,
insane. Imagine
fantastic.
having to, all right, we got to do take two. Let's
Yeah,
set it all the way back up. So that's great. And again, it's like for a purpose, because he continually gets brought closer to the camera as, he
the
starts out
conversation
the
gets more
mayor.
and more threatening, almost. Of like,
Exactly. It's
you're not
like
going
the
to kill
group
this person.
thing. Then he kind of levels down with them to just a one-on-one of like, hey,
Oh,
don't
dude,
drop
Raiders of
this
the Lost
basically.
Ark also has some great oneers in it.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my god, the blocking in that movie. I can't wait till we get to the
Here,
80s. We're talking about Raiders of the
shadow
Lost Ark.
work as well. Well, we've already talked about that one.
We gotta do it again.
We did
Again, damn it,
our
again.
Indiana Jones. So we talked, obviously we touched on Spielberg. We've done his Jurassic movies, his Indiana Jones movies. Done, his a little more recent work. We talked about Fablemans on the show. So yeah, we've already sung his praises and all this stuff. But yeah, it's great to go back and see even way back when. I mean, again, he was 26 or 27 when he made Jaws. Insane to be that young and be able to pull
Yeah, just
something like this
great
off.
choices. Great choices being made here. I mean,
And
just like
yeah,
the shots alone, the dolly zoom, the cross cutting to get closer and closer to uh what's
love
his
that. You're
name's
talking about
face?
the
Martin Brody.
the
When he's
wipes
yeah,
and
when he's
people are
sitting
wiping
on in
through
the
and then
chair and
erasing it. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
wiping as the people walk by and it's just getting closer and closer on him. Great.
That whole scene is masterful. Like obviously, the most
It's
famous
the
part
best scene
is
in the movie, yeah.
the dolly zoom, which again he got from Hitchcock. So again, he always has these moves he'll take from the heroes, and then they become even more iconic in the hands of Spielberg. So obviously, incredible shot, incredible use of that. Something that nowadays we see like every single movie has one, but
Yeah.
you can't get better than a usage like this. But even just the build up to it, where you're just seeing the paranoia that he has. He's trying to clock everything that's going on the beach, and then of course he lets his guard down just a tiny bit.
Mhm.
You have that go on. But yeah, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
The way that he sets everything up here, where he chooses to place the camera, and then how he'll move us through a scene with his camera movement and those wonders, just unmatched, unbeatable. But we also got to appreciate about Spielberg here. He has great material to work with here, but whenever
Yeah.
he brings on amazing actors to bring it to life, he's always recognized for these other things, but there's really strong characters that he has in his work. And in this one, Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw,
Dude, I love Roy
and
Scheider.
we get Richard
Just
Dreyfuss.
incredible.
Like it's an incredible main trio that we get here. And, obviously it comes from the novel Jaws, but they rewrote it. They had a different few writers on it. Carl Gottlieb,
Yeah.
Who apparently was writing it during the night. Like they were doing rewrites. They would come back from the days of shooting and then he would pump out new papers. So that's even more crazy. Obviously, there's the famed stories of the shark not being very cooperative on set. But having to deal with that and then also changing the story and being able to adapt to whatever the situations were, the weather as well, shooting out on a real boat, also insane. Another iconic part about it because it lends so much to the reality, the credibility of all those shots out there. I was reading from my Spielberg biography book some of the stuff about the making of Jaws and all that, and how he apparently was adamant about making sure that the horizon was clear, so you couldn't see any, just boats that were out there from the vacationer set, Martha's
Yeah,
Vineyard, wherever they were
and that's
filming.
tough to do, especially with
That's
those
extremely
wide
subjective.
shots.
And
Yeah,
they said, they have to wait an hour or two sometimes. They would send people out to try and talk to people like, hey, can you clear out the horizon? We're shooting a movie. And obviously some people would be like, piss off. So he would have to wait on that. But he always stuck to his guns because he was like, this, you need to feel like they're stranded out there. Like there is no easy way out. And if you see other people that are out there, then you won't imagine that it's them alone on the ocean with
yeah,
killer
100%.
shark. So stuff like that, 100% necessary. But yeah, the character work, I just love it. Like the first half of this movie is just already a 5-star classic, and then of course you get to the stuff with
the three of them
the
on the
shark
boat
at the end. But I'm like, even forget about that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah,
Everything
the
in that first
adventure
half.
it becomes when they get on the boat is fantastic. I mean, the shooting of the shark with the little barrels that float up and every once in a while, the shark just like slamming into the boat constantly, and the boat like slowly sinking over like 20 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just the end where he's laying across the mast of the boat as it sinks into the water, and it's like if you don't get this shot in, you're in the water with it. Like you're dead.
Yeah,
It's charging. It's great.
great build up for
Absolutely
sure.
great. Great set design, great use of the boat. Oh,
Great
it's just so
action
good.
one liner too. You don't really hear much, but the smile, you son of a, like
Yeah.
perfectly done. Obviously the score. I mean, you can't talk about Jaws without talking about one of the most iconic scores of all time.
Like John Williams.
John Williams, there you go. So he
Not
was
even just the dun 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 duns, like all of it's good. Like the adventures parts of it are great. It really sticks to like a very good like theme here. It's just a lot of fun.
100%. So yeah, he was crucial in this film becoming as iconic as it is.
Mm-hmm. He's
It
really
was
good at
Spielberg.
marrying like the terrifying of the situation with just the adventure of it as well. So it doesn't feel exhausting by the end of it. Because you could have made, fully hardcore Jaws where it's just like no comedy, no fun, no adventure. It's like you're hunting a shark and there's like a bunch of people and they're all getting just slaughtered,
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't do that. He made it more realistic. He made it more grounded. He gave the characters like laughs. He gave funny moments. I love that.
There's a lot
I
of
love
great
when they're on
comedic
the
bits.
beach after the first shark attack. When after it's like everybody, it's like 4th of July. I think it's the 4th of July one where they're on the beach and everybody's sitting in the sand, and then the mayor comes to the guy and he goes, "Nobody's getting in the water.
Why
Get
aren't you in the water?
Why aren't you in the water? Nobody's getting in." And he makes the guy and his wife get in the water so that everybody gets in. And then the kids put on the fins
The
and just
kid,
terrifies everybody. Oh god, the misdirect is great in that scene
he
too.
comes out, he made me do it. He made me do it. And then later when you see them just getting hauled up onto the boat, they're just like,
Yeah.
get over here.
I will say, I think
That was
my
really good.
favorite shot of the shark, because I think this has to be the animatronic. My favorite shot of the animatronic shark is when it's the overhead shot of the guy in the boat and he's like yelling at the kids about their knots, and you see the full body of the shark coming up towards his boat. Terrifying. That thing's huge. That thing is massive.
Yeah. And they do great. Again, Spielberg kind of mastered this as well, right? Holding until at least around the halfway point to show the monster.
Mhm.
And so for the first 3 encounters that we get one from the shark perspective, another from the shark perspective, and then we see when he pulls out half of the dock, and then you see the dock turn around and come back after the people, which is just great.
Yeah, great use of like other elements in the scene to represent the shark, because he does the same thing with the barrels for like
The
the second
barrels
half of
is
the movie. The barrels is
very
iconic.
inspired choice, and I imagine one that they
I
had
love when
to
the
do.
barrels are charging the boat and then they just go under the water, right
Mhm.
underneath the boat. I don't know how they even do that. It's incredible.
Yeah, that stuff is great. But even that misdirect, like because we've seen 3 shark encounters by that point, all of which had the score. And then when you're anticipating, okay, the shark's gonna show up somewhere, what's gonna happen? But
There's no
first we get
score the
that
whole time.
misdirect, no score for that, and they're like, okay, it was just the kids, we're chilling. And then now we get the score.
The sharks in the
Of
pond.
course,
Sharks in the pond.
he's going after the pond where Brody sent his kid, and so like, oh god.
Yeah.
So there's
Fantastic.
great tension building there. Yeah, the character is great. Like having, and I guess this is credit to Peter Benchley from the novel, but having, I don't know if this was the case, so I haven't read it, but Brody being afraid of the water, living on the island, they have a good line there where he's like, "Are you on an island?"
from
And
the
he's
water.
like, "Yeah, it's on the island if you're looking at it from the water." And to that point, dude, Dreyfus, he's fantastic in this. Obviously, we'll talk about it in Close
Mm-hmm.
Encounters as well, but he's fantastic. I love him in this part. Just the energy that he brings to, I think, is great. He's coming at it from a scientific angle, so he's able to speak more to the
Mm-hmm.
expertise of the shark behavior and what's going on there. And there's a little bit of the like class dynamic between him and Quint as well, which I think is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously, when they're on the boat, and then they start sharing their scars,
Mm-hmm.
the stories behind that, which of course leads into the USS Indianapolis story. Like it's
Yeah.
just great character work there because
Mm-hmm.
it's 100% believable. Like that's just how it would go down. They'd have a few drinks and they start sharing the scars and the stories behind it, and then now they have this newfound respect for each other. Even before they start really being, oh god, our lives could end.
I like when
Before
Richard
it was
Dreyfuss points to his chest and he says, "Mary Lou Moffat broke my heart,"
yeah, he loved that joke. He was
and
he was cackling
he
himself.
fucking cracks up about it because he's drunk. Great.
Oh
I
yeah.
like my favorite thing is they're talking about their scars, and there's a moment where Brody looks down at his arm and he looks at a scar he has and just puts it away instead of saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't like want to jump in.
That part was
I love
great.
Roy Scheider, bro. He's so good in this.
He's fantastic. The stuff as well, because again, there's a great tonal balance in this because it could be extremely heavy. A kid dies like
Yeah, yeah.
25, 30 minutes into the movie. A kid straight up dies, which was really sad. Like seeing the
The mom, yeah.
mom like go around and look. Everyone's out of the water now, and she's looking around for the kid. Just brutal. And then
You see
later,
the floaty that's ripped to
yeah.
shreds. Yeah,
And then later she comes and slaps Brody in the face, blaming him. And obviously he was the one that wanted to shut down the beach and everything, but he
I'd
got
still blame him.
convinced.
Shit.
I mean, yeah, but again, it's like, what could he do? He was told by the coroner, whoever, like, oh, it's a different thing. And so it's like, what does he know? And this is back in the time, I guess, where they just didn't know much about sharks. It was funny looking at him, like, look at the textbooks on sharks and learning the stuff that obviously now, because of Jaws in part and all the Shark Week stuff, is just common knowledge to us. But they're like learning about sharks for the first time, and how they behave. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely, it's just a tough situation. Obviously, he blames himself heavily because of that. That whole scene where he's just distraught, his kid is like doing the mimicking thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then Brody catches on, and then they have that sweet little moment, the father son
Mm-hmm.
moment there. Amazing, like top tier stuff, very endearing. And then Dreyfuss shows up, brings the wine. Brody pours it into the full glass instead of just a wine glass.
Great.
And then that scene is also, again, it's not like a wonder per se, but it's just a long take. He holds on these things for a long time, which just allows us to connect even more to the characters in that scene, as they get on the same page. Like Dreyfuss and Scheider's characters, they're like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna take matters into our own hands. Basically, we're gonna go cut open the shark, see if the boy is in there, and then if not, figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just obviously the thrills of it work beautifully. Again, the stuff with the shark, the score, like all that stuff is essential for it to being able to work as well as it does. But it's just also the character stuff. If it didn't hit as well as it does, this wouldn't be the classic, right? We wouldn't care as much when those three go out into the water. So yeah, it's just sensational the whole way through. Pure delight for sure.
Yeah.
Any other great moments in Jaws you want to?
I didn't have a great viewing experience this time because I watched it on my DVD copy, which I did not realize was full screen only. And so it just filled the screen and like cut off the top section and the bottom section. Oh, no. And so there was like no headroom for the actors sometimes. And sometimes things were just cut off. And I was like, there's no way to change this. This sucks. I shouldn't have bought the full screen. Fuck. That's what I get for being an idiot when I'm 16 buying DVDs without looking at what it fucking says on the box.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, a lot of
no, love it. Just love it.
Great shots in this as well. Bill Butler was the cinematographer this time around. Yeah, some of the shots like out in the water when I forget what it's called, but the little plank on the end of the ship where Quint is just out there like leaning back against it, and you got the sunset against him. That's just great. They have some good framing with the frames within frames. Sometimes they do it with the shark jaws that they have. That stuff's great. And a couple of shots that were like on top of the mast, pretty much looking down, like when Quint was up there, and then he was telling Brody to do something, and Brody was like, "Can't you get someone else to do it? Can't
It
you
was
get?"
it was shoveling the chum out into the water.
Was that moment?
Yeah, and he goes, what about Hopper? And he goes, Hopper's driving the boat.
Exactly. He's like, "That's his job. You need to do this." And he's like, "All right."
And so he
And
goes out and he
obviously we get
chums the
that.
water, and that's when the shark first shows up. Great shot as well. His reaction, fantastic.
Yeah, it's our first full look, at least at the face of the shark, and then looks huge again. Just the way they framed it, like he looks absolutely huge, and then it leads into the great. You're gonna need a bigger boat,
Great
which
line.
100%. At that point, I'd be like, dude,
They
let's get out
definitely
of
needed
here.
a bigger boat. Oh
Then
shit.
Quinn obviously starts getting overly
Bro, he
obsessed,
breaks the radio.
destroys the radio.
Crazy.
He had a lot of restraint, bro. You're certifiable, Quinn. You're certified. I'm amazed he didn't smack him up once or two times. That's crazy. Destroyed our communication back home. Like, what are we gonna do if we did get stranded? Like, come on.
Yeah. Hey, they took care of it though. They got that shark and they only lost one man. That's pretty good. Pretty good numbers.
It's pretty good. Again, I'm really happy that Hopper made it alive. That
Yeah.
stuff in the cage, really well done.
Yeah. The combination of like the fake shark charging the cage and then the real shark actually destroying the cage.
Yeah.
How do they do that? Did they just have a shark and then they like swam it towards the cage? Because
was in
it's
the
a
book.
real shark and it's
I read.
actually just like swimming around.
And the thing, because originally in the book, I think as well, they were supposed to. Hopper is supposed to die in the cage. He's supposed to get eaten.
Mhm.
What they were going to do, there were two filmmakers that had done documentaries on sharks, great white sharks, and so very early on in the process, they commissioned them to go film with a real shark, and they wanted to get
Mhm.
the shots of the cage. So they were going to have a little person in the cage, so that the shark looked even bigger, and then the shark was going to swim around it and everything, and then they were going to have a scene, I guess, where they would replace the little person with a dummy, and then the shark like goes into the cage. But something happened where they couldn't have the person in the cage, and so the footage that they got was they said they're like, "Oh, this incredible footage! It's sensational." You can see some of it as well, like when the one shark is swimming away, like that's also the real shark. But then they're like, "Oh, we got some great stuff with the cage." And Spielberg was like, "Did you get the guy in there?" They're like, "No," and then he's like, "We can't use it." But then they got the footage back and they looked at it, and again, it's like the shark is rolling around on top of the cage, like thrashing,
destroying
like
the cage. Yeah,
he's like, "This looks incredible, so we have to use it." So then they changed it to where Hopper gets out. So that's why they had him like drop the thing, and then the cage is open a little bit. He swims away, and then they could cut to that shot of shark thrashing the empty cage.
It's a great shot. I was like, how do they fucking do this? It's just a coincidence, I guess. Yeah,
getting him, but I don't know what they do.
It wasn't in the script.
Chum or something.
They got the shot, and then
they got the shot, and then they adapted.
Lucky to get the shot, and then warmed it in, bro. What a
which is great because again, that shot, like it's believable. Like a lot of the,
it's a real fucking
in
shark.
The cage,
it's destroying the cage.
They have the mechanical shark coming up. That looks really good. When he's ramming into the cage and whatnot, it does look good. And then
the only thing that's a little bit of disconnect is the shark is on top of the cage, like thrashing it violently, and then up above the water is Roy Scheider. He's just got like his hand on the water. He's like, get it. And he's like trying to like grab the cage, but it's like there's a shark right there. Like the shark is right there.
Right. A little bit of a disconnect for sure.
But it's fine. It's totally fine. It's still like it matches. It's fine.
Yeah, but that shot is so well done that you're like, Jesus, this
it is great.
Extremely terrifying.
Great shot.
So yeah, that's all good. Quint getting straight up eaten in half. Brutal.
Yeah, him screaming and kicking to avoid falling into the shark's mouth and still ending up in there. Tough.
Brutal. Truly brutal.
How many bigger boats out of 5, Ryan?
Giving it a full 5 out of 5.
You and me both, brother. This movie is top tier. Definitely top 5 Spielberg for sure. One of these days I'm going to rank his movies, and this is definitely going to end up in the top 5.
Yeah, the end of our little project here, we can do that. What is your favorite Spielberg as of now? Raiders?
Dude,
it's got to be.
Probably. I think it is Raiders.
In your top, 4 all time, right? So
it's probably Raiders. Jurassic Park's up there. Jaws is up there. Schindler's List is up there. Saving Private Ryan's up there. Temple of Doom's up there. I really like Catch Me If You Can. I think that's probably top 10.
I'm the biggest fan. We'll see if we come to that in our.
It's good.
Thing.
It's
we
good.
Need to watch it again. I wasn't charmed by it as much as I wanted to be. Yeah, for me,
as of right now, I am that second mouse. You don't like that speech? Two mice fall into a bad. That's a bad Christopher Walken. I'm sorry. I can do better. I'm sorry.
So
Let's just jump straight into Close Encounters of the Third Kind, shall we? I have not
let's
seen
do
this
it.
movie before doing this. Like we're watching it for this episode. This is my first time watching it.
Mhm.
When was your first time watching this movie?
Last year it was in theaters.
Okay.
For what reason? I don't know. I forget why it was put in there. But the 50th anniversary is coming up soon. I'm hoping
Yeah.
they put in IMAX. I will be going to see that.
Maybe. I think
The
IMAX
theatrical
theaters
experience
probably
of
gonna be
it.
booked out for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars.
Well, true, but
I
they're not
guess you
going to
could
release
fit
them
both
at the
in,
same
but
time.
dude, they
They'll
could
do
put
the
Star Wars
50th.
in for like 6 months and people will still go see it.
You think
The OG Star Wars, yeah, in IMAX
for
for
6
the
months?
50th anniversary.
Well, they're not going to have it in IMAX for 6 months, but they'll have it, for a week, I'm sure. And then in Close Encounters, they'll just find a weekend or something to do it.
Uh-huh.
It won't be head to head.
Yeah. So this is my first time watching it. This is probably the least I've known about one of Spielberg's movies going into it. Like I know the tones, do 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 do, and I know the the look of the ending, where I know what the spaceship looks like and I know what the stage looks like that they're performing on. Other than
Mhm.
that, I knew nothing about this movie. I had no fucking idea what the plot was. I didn't know the characters. I didn't know the relationship between the characters. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know anything about this movie. All I know was like the iconography of like what the ship looks like and the five notes, That's it.
Right.
So going into it, I was like, let's see, it's kind of a long movie, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's aliens, and I've heard it's kind of slow, and I don't know anything about it. Like nothing else apparently sticks out to land in pop culture other than the five notes and the ship at the end. So we'll see. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think it's pretty good. I think it is slow. It definitely takes its time, but I think it's
But
good.
just pretty good.
The opening, fantastic. One of the best openings to a movie ever. When they're in the desert and they're all just yelling at each other with the sand, and they're all talking about the ships and everything. Oh, bro, I was like getting Raiders flashbacks. This is like a warm up to Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's so fucking good. I love the opening. I love everything to do with the team gathering information about the aliens when they go to India, when they go to the Gobi Desert, when they go to all those places. It's great. Love it.
Mhm.
The movie has like ebbs and flows, if you ask me. I think this is this not, correct me if I'm wrong, is this Spielberg's first movie that he actually wrote, that he made?
No, he wrote Sugarland Express.
He wrote Sugarland Express? I was like, okay. But that's based on a real story, at least. This is like his first original concept film.
True. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Spielberg as a writer. I think he's a really good director, and I think he makes iconic films. And his dialogue in this movie isn't bad. Like the dialogue is good.
Uh-huh.
But in terms of like scene to scene flow, like keeping the beats alive and keeping the energy going, it is hard for me to be like, this movie is paced really well. I don't think it's paced very great from a script perspective. It is a little bit exhausting at times, just watching like people just like staring at the sky. That being said, there are individual scenes that I think are really, really great. I really like when Richard Dreyfuss first encounters the alien, and like he's in the truck and the truck goes crazy and like everything's shaking around him, like great practical effects. The beam of light on him was really great. Him like being dazzled and chasing it, and then the whole chase he goes through as well, also
Dude,
great.
it's an all-timer scene, bro.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You think the truck's coming up behind him, he's looking down at the map or whatever, he's distracted.
And the lights go up into the air, fantastic. Dude,
it's amazing. It's so
that
awesome.
shit's sick. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I really my favorite scene in the movie is when he's going nuts and he's throwing shit in the windows. I really, really like that scene.
Awesome.
To make
his
the
huge
mound.
crash out.
Yeah. That shit is awesome.
Yeah.
And then I don't really understand the ending. I'm not gonna lie.
What don't you understand about the ending?
Why does he go on the ship?
You understand why he would do it?
Why would he do it?
Because he's obsessed with knowing more, learning more.
Why is he obsessed?
Because
the point where he's leaving his wife and kids?
An encounter. Well, clearly he was never that attached to the kids, which I think is compelling, because this is, again, going into our Spielberg director analysis. A lot of his films, especially early on, dealt with his complicated relationship to his family, specifically his father. You see that in The Last Crusade. You see it. E.T. has a bit of it, and this one is one of the major ones that gets cited, right? Because the father leaves and whatnot.
Yeah, Fabelmans, which is
reflection
literally
of
just
real
about
life,
it,
which we see in the
father.
Fablemans, which is crazy, isn't it? Because back here they would like, oh, it's clearly something bad with his father happens. He was estranged from his father for I think it was like 19 years or something like that. Come to find out, in Fablemans, it was his mom. His mom is the one that actually broke up the marriage. She was with
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Which is just crazy. And then the dad took the blame so that Spielberg wouldn't hate his mom.
Could you imagine making a movie about your life and in it your dad gets cucked by Seth Rogen?
What did he mean by that? What did Spielberg mean by
it? What is the meaning behind this? The casting decision of putting Seth Rogen in there.
Terrible. But anyway, so that's just one of the craziest things. Anyway, you're not the biggest fan of Fableman somehow. Again, just the movie on itself.
I should rewatch it, but I think it's
impeccable.
Okay.
You didn't even put it in your top 10 of that year, I don't think. Insane.
No, I didn't. I need to rewatch it, but I remember coming out of being like, it's okay.
Possibly a top 5 Spielberg. I need to watch it again. It may be 5 stars.
Over Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom, Jaws, 5. Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. Over all of those movies.
Over Temple of Doom, some of those Last movies? Crusade, yeah, for sure.
Fuck you.
Saving Private Ryan as well, yeah.
Temple of Doom is great.
Jurassic Park and Raiders, Jaws, probably not, but
Schindler's List?
I haven't seen Schindler's List.
You've never seen Schindler's List?
Never seen Schindler's List.
What about Saving Private Ryan? Over Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, I would put it over that.
Really?
We need to see it again?
I think it's pretty good.
I would say. Yeah, I think it's
not my favorite war movie.
Obviously, the filmmaking is incredible, but yeah, I don't think it's the toppest of the top. Sure. Emotionally, like, again, I was more plugged into the Fableman story.
Over The Post?
I haven't seen The Post, but I know they're being facetious there.
It's actually just mid tier. It's actually not even like the worst of his movies. We're just being mean for no reason. He's definitely made worse movies. What I need to see is West Side Story, Munich, and
his late works.
Yes, and Ready Player One. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, people saying he's lost his touch. He's like, false. Fableman's again genuine, incredible masterpiece, classic.
I gotta rewatch
West Side Story is great.
I've heard West Side Story is fantastic from everybody that watched it. I need to see it.
Again, the filmmaking of it's incredible. Some a scene or two here. I think it's over. It was not bringing.
Anyway, back to Close Encounters.
Close Encounters. Anyway,
you clearly love this film.
Yeah, I do love it. And going back to the context again of like Spielberg having those family issues, obviously that's present here. He wasn't a father yet. He was still going through, the feelings of his father didn't quite abandon him. Again, there was just like the divorce, and then Spielberg just stopped basically engaging with his dad. But this was during that time, and so that mindset of somebody is extremely obsessed with something that they can see, right? This understanding of having seen aliens, and now clearly there's some compulsion to go to Devil's Mountain. What's it called?
Devil's Tower.
Devil's Tower, yeah. To go there, and he can't, basically let anybody else know the strength of this vision that he has, his compulsion. And then when he's finally able to get there and see it and realize it, he has the choice of go along with it and go further, or go back to his family life, which was already established in a very well done scene early on, where we have like the kids are making a bunch of ruckus all the time whenever he's with them. He's trying to get the one kid to go see Pinocchio. He doesn't want to have it. Like, he clearly doesn't have a very strong like fatherhood at this moment. Like, he's not enjoying being a father. And so I can see why Spielberg at that point in time would make the choice of like, okay, the dad leaves. This is probably what Spielberg felt A, his dad did, and then B, that he might do if he was in the same boat of, he's this genius artist. And so he clearly has a sense of, having these strong visions, wanting to realize them, having an obsessive quality about creating these films, again, stuff like Jaws and whatnot. They talk about that, in the book and all these other things, right? How demanding he is, how exacting he is. He needs the horizon clear so that there's no other boat on the freaking ocean. So they'll wait 2 hours to get that shot, right? So that kind of sensibility. I think he imbued into the Dreyfus character, and I think that's why he ultimately makes that choice at the end. Spielberg has said he would not make that choice now. He was like, I don't see how a father could do that. So he's had to change your heart on like that particular decision. But I kind of
Okay.
like because it's so not what you would expect, right? Like it's against what we would anticipate, especially someone we're following, right? The protagonist, the hero of the story, to do is to ultimately abandon his kids. Um, but it's in pursuit, I guess, of that again, this like knowledge, wanting to know more about the universe.
Hmm.
Can't pass up that opportunity. So I think it's a compelling ending, and how we get there. Again, I think Dreyfus in this film is incredible, so watchable. Again, him crashing out all the time is
Yeah, dude. The
amazing.
the crash out with the building the Devil's Tower in the living room is sick. That is a great scene.
The stuff like with the TV as well, with him like turning and seeing that, incredible.
Hmm.
The I think UFO stuff, just the way that happens, like the whole idea of the sunburns from getting
Hmm.
exposed to it is compelling. Dude, the house where the UFO shows up right outside, and we see it descend, and it's the light is pouring in through the blinds
Yeah.
in the window. Amazing, truly gorgeous stuff there. Like all that stuff, I just think hits, and it's magical. Again, that's why when it does come out next year for its anniversary in IMAX, we're gonna have to go see it.
It would
It
definitely be
is
more fun in the big screen for sure. It's
pure
just
gem.
very long.
It is, and I think again some of the stuff towards the end with him trying to get up on the mountain and whatnot. I wish some of that stuff would have been tightened.
Yeah, I think
Um,
there's like a because like the from the point where he gets to Wyoming to the end of the movie is like 40 minutes long.
yeah, it's quite extensive, but all the stuff like it's very prolonged. The musical dialogue that they have with the UFO, but I love all that, and again, it
Mhm.
hits
That's
in
that I want to stay.
theaters.
It's the
It's one of
climbing the
those.
tower that I don't care about.
It's like the magic quality. We talk about the Spielberg magic and everything. Certainly there
Mhm.
in Jurassic Park. It's there a
Also,
lot in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
great use
It's
of extras again, extending from Sugarland Express and Jaws. I guess we didn't really talk about all the extra use in Jaws, but the scene where there's the evacuation of the Devil's Tower town, great, with like all the people at the train station and they're all freaking out and running around, and you have the guy trying to
mhm.
sell gas masks and he's got like, I got one for my dog, and the dog's wearing a gas mask. Awesome.
Truly great stuff. But that whole scene at the end where you're caught up, at least I was, especially in the theater, right, with the music blaring all around. They're communicating through music.
Yeah.
One of the universal languages, right? Another one being mathematics, which Spielberg touches on as well. He's always had this thing too of friendly aliens for
Mhm.
most of film. I guess War of the Worlds different, but every
Yeah,
other film
there's a
that deals with
skull.
aliens, they're friendly, right? They're just here to make contact, understand us, all this stuff. And so here, finding that language to communicate, sign language as well, I guess, also gets used later on. Um, but I think it's just beautiful. Like it's so moving, affecting, and then when that ship opens up, all the people pour out,
Great.
including all the ones in like
They got
from
abducted. Yeah.
hundreds of years ago, like
Yeah.
all the
And the
abductees in the
Cotopaxi
past.
and the yeah.
So all of that was great. And then they bring out the aliens, so we get to see them as well. But
Many
it was
different
just magical.
aliens.
It
You had
was
their like the
great.
spinely puppet one, and then you had the little ones that are actually just kids in costumes, and you have the actual like grown gray
Yeah.
man one. I was like, can we just stick to an alien, please? we, we're kind of moving around a lot here,
Look, there can be diverse little aliens. There'd be some variety amongst the species.
I suppose.
So I thought that was great. Overall, the
I
another
like
thing
the
that struck
idea
me
not
was
only that the
the
aliens are like benevolent, but the people are too. Like the human beings that are representing the government are also like they're not trying to kill the aliens or like they're not afraid of the aliens. They're a little afraid. Some of them run, but they're not like armed to the teeth. They're also trying to communicate. Like it is two-sided
yeah.
mission of peace. I enjoy that because that's also very rare. Is usually military's there, guns a blazing, which is probably what would happen in real life too.
Indeed.
But it's nice to see that in this version that Spielberg has, it is like a government conspiracy, and they are wrapping it tight, and they are a mission of peace to retrieve the. I like when you realize the whole mission was to retrieve the people who had been abducted, and you have like the board of people, and they're like slowly Xing off one at a time. It's like that's what they were doing the whole time. and then also gearing up to put people on the ship to gather more information.
Indeed, indeed.
I think it's also a little bit of a disconnect. Why do they allow Richard Dreyfuss to get on the ship?
Again, that was a
He's
little bit
just
of
a
a
guy.
stretch. They're like, look, he
And
came all this way.
yeah, Truffaut is like, he was invited. And so he was invited. And so he must be on the ship. And it's like, well, you just had an extra jumpsuit and you want this guy who could potentially ruin this mission to just hop on in, I
Right.
guess.
What were the qualifications of all the other people, though? Like, what were they? It's not
At
like
least, at the
astronauts are
very
being
least,
sent up.
debriefed on what the mission is. He's
Yeah,
just not even debriefed. He's just thrown into a jumpsuit and put on an alien ship.
that is true. But it would make sense, right? If, you know, in the ninth hour, and then this guy comes all this way. You're
Yeah, I
like,
guess if you don't want to
they were
kill him to cover
contacted.
up the conspiracy, you
Yeah.
might as well just hide him that way, I guess.
So
I thought that
let him
too. I
on.
was
Why
like,
not?
maybe they're just trying to get rid of him. They don't want him to expose their secrets. Yeah, get on the ship, man. Yeah, hop on in.
So the UFO as well, the look of it is incredible.
Yeah, dude, it is
I think
big.
is very awe-inspiring. So I love that. The way it emerges from the clouds as well, like uses
Oh,
that as the way
dude.
the mask gets movement.
I love the
Makes
shot
a lot of
of
sense and is very
earlier
cool.
in the movie when he's driving on the road and then the shadow of the ship passes over him. How did they do that? It's got to be miniatures. That shit's crazy.
That's incredible. Yeah, the one where they're up on that roadside hill and they're looking out. They see them going into the sky. It's
Or I
just
like
great. Like there's
the cop is so caught up in chasing the UFOs, he just bullets straight off the road down the hill. And then the other cops show up and they pull out and they just step out of the car and look at it because they're so awe inspired. They don't even check on their buddy who just fucking drove straight off a hill. Sick.
and then I think as well so all that awe inspiring wonder hits 100%. But the character stuff as well, I think, is really well done. The scene at the dinner table with the mashed potatoes, it's so good. Because
Yeah.
imagine that as a kid, like your dad is genuinely going insane about the alien stuff, which you can't even really speak to. Playing with his food with the mashed potatoes. And then the kid there is just crying. He's like bawling because he doesn't know what is happening. And then Richard Dreyfuss recognizes it and it's like, oh God, I'm sure this is extremely tough to see. And he doesn't know how to comfort them, basically, because he's still obsessed. Like he still wants to pursue what to him is so like clear and obvious. And obviously there's some, again, like compulsion that they put into him, those aliens, to make him need to go to that place. So yeah, I just think like that idea is really well rendered. I have another one in the bathroom where they're having an argument, and then the kid shows up, and just a little editing trick of him like opening and closing the door, being distraught as well. I think that was well done. There's some moments of the melodrama and whatnot, but I think overall they handle those emotions really well. Of like this family that is falling apart and fracturing because of that that situation.
Yeah.
But again, it balances the comedy really well. Again, of him crashing out and everything, and then the whole neighborhood is watching the spectacle as the family drives off. So, yeah, I think it's just really, really strong in the magical moments. Right, actually having those encounters with the aliens. I remember watching it, feeling like one of those people that would have been standing in that staging area, being stunned, astonished, moved by what was happening. So that hits 100%. And then just being very compelled by the that duality that Dreyfus feels of, I guess, with the family he wasn't too attached, but that longing for knowing more, like wanting to discover more about the universe, feeling like he needs to chase that, and then having an attachment to the family slowly wither as he puts more and more time, energy, and sanity into the pursuit for the aliens.
Yeah.
I think it's just really, really well done, well rendered.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's crazy.
It has high points, it has low points, I probably need to
Really
rewatch
crazy.
it.
And we'll get you in the theater for that.
Yeah, we'll see in theaters. It'll be better in theaters. Like, you know how Interstellar was better in theaters? This will be better in theaters.
100%. Without a doubt. So, any other final thoughts on Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
No.
Okay, well, now you'll be ready to watch Disclosure Day.
Yeah.
Have you seen his first major foray into alien contact?
Mm-hmm. He used to be the shark guy. Now he's the alien guy.
Indeed.
How many UFO-induced sunburns out of 5 do you give Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Ryan?
I'm giving it 4.5 UFO-induced sunburns. I love this film, bro. I truly do. It's kind of on the 5-star track. If I catch that in IMAX next year, it could get the bump to a 5. I think it's delightful.
Alrighty. I'm giving it 3.5.
Wow, bro. You're soft on the GOAT. What's going on? 3 and a 3.5. Which are
I'm
all
a little
positive
critical.
ratings. But
what can I say? I mean, I've just seen the rest of his filmography. I think it's stronger. I think his movies in the 90s are excellent. So, you know, we just got to keep pushing on. The 80s is next. We'll see what the 80s yields outside of Indiana Jones. You know?
I guess I do.
Yeah.
I guess I do.
All right, that's all the time we have. If you'd like to give your thoughts on the show, you can email us at theboxofficeshowpod@gmail.com.
Our main theme of the show is Sundown by Joseph Day.
And if you like the show, please give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to, and be sure to tune in next week. Have a great rest of your day.